I'd like to invite you to stand as you are able. We begin this morning by naming as a college and as the wider Grinnell community that we are humbled to be neighbors of the Meskwaki Nation, recognized as the Sauk and Fox tribe of the Mississippi and Iowa through its purchase of land and establishment in Tama County in 1857, less than 30 miles from Grinnell College. And we also acknowledge that we're on the ancestral territory of the Sauk and Iowa peoples, whose land was taken from them through the encroachment of white settlers, and then formally in 1845 through government land concessions. We wish to pay respect to the Meskwaki, Sauk, and Iowa peoples, both past and present. As we begin the ceremony, we give thanks for the privilege of being here on this special morning to celebrate these graduates. We're grateful for the family and friends who gather with us on this high occasion. We acknowledge family members, given and chosen, and the many ways their love, support, patience, and commitment has helped these graduates on their way to this major milestone. We acknowledge and honor the faculty who shared with these students wisdom, experience, creativity, and commitment that has helped these graduates on their way. We give thanks for the staff who continue the education and scaffolding of support in its many forms for these students outside the classroom. We give thanks for the students who took a chance on this institution and remained with this college through many obstacles of the 4 years of your study. And finally, I can say, as someone not affiliated with the college, that these students have helped to make the wider Grinnell community a more diverse, inclusive, and engaging place while they dedicated themselves to their work and to building and maintaining of friendships on and off the campus that will last a lifetime. So we begin this ceremony in a spirit of joy and gratitude. May this day hold important memories for all of us. Amen. Please be seated.
Family and friends, it is my privilege to introduce our 2024 commencement speaker, Peter Segal, humorist, playwright, journalist, and NPR host. His insightful view of the world, infused with a dash of humor and abundance of creativity, makes life a little lighter for all who listen. His work serves as an inspiration to our graduates. Please welcome Peter Segal.
Thank you, Marshall Freeman, as well President Harris, Dean Montgomery, my fellow honorees up here, as well as the faculty and administrators at Grinnell, the college staff, and of course those people who spent this morning furiously drying all your seats with leaf blowers so we could be here. This being Grinnell, I know what all of you graduates are thinking. Wait, gas-powered leaf blowers? Don't start, because this time at the picnic, they'll just dump your food right on your hands. If none of you have ever seen me in person before, it is my experience that it takes about 5 minutes to get used to what I look like and actually focus on what I'm saying. So I'll save the serious stuff for then. By the way, I just thanked everybody. Well, not everybody, not yet. I also thank you, the Grinnell class of 2024. I had assumed that I had been foisted on you by your administration, because it was hard for me to imagine you saying, you know who I would like to hear on this day, a celebration marking the most significant achievement of my life to date, the guy I was forced to listen to as a child, while strapped into a car seat. But then I find out that the graduating class gets to choose its own commencement speaker. And I realized there are some children who, while strapped into that car seat, shout at their mommies and daddies to put NPR back on. Those were the kids who grew up to go to Grinnell. Not all of you, of course, not all of you. I need to say that I met with a group of students last night who told me how excited they were to have me as your speaker, and I'm like, this is amazing. I was the first choice of the whole class. And then one among you, very wise, said, yes, well, we're the ones who wanted to come and meet you. Everybody else is down getting their drink on at Rabbits. So yes, I assume there are some of you who, just like when you were 5 years old, would much prefer right now to be listening to the soundtrack of Frozen. Well, let it go. I had assumed, frankly, that you would be much more interested in having one of the kinds of commencement speakers who apparently are popular with you kids these days, successful Bitcoin entrepreneurs, stars of popular 1990s sitcoms, and place kickers for the football team that Taylor Swift's boyfriend plays on. No, I hope you all watched that particular commencement speech, if you haven't already, because that gentleman provides an important message that even the kicker in pro football teams can suffer from repeated blows to the head. I didn't know if that would get a laugh, but then I looked into your football team and I figured, yeah. Okay. Everybody used to the face by now? You're all good? If a train comes by and you're not able to hear me for a moment, I will take off this hat and you can marvel at my hairline. Grinnell class of 2024, I salute you. Commencement speakers usually see their job as preparing graduates for the many challenges to come and to buck you up with praise of your potential, but you are the college class of 2024, meaning most of you were the high school class of 2020. You have already survived more impossible challenges than any generation since World War II. You don't need my advice on dealing with hardship. You survived Zoom prom. You spent your first year here putting on masks and eye shields so you could bring bags of blue cheese pizza from the DH to your dorm to eat with your scurry. If not, perhaps the greatest generation, you are the most over it generation. But it does occur to me that most of you then missed your own high school commencement. So in a way, I'm doing double duty here today. Let me see if I can make up for that lack. High school graduates of 2020. Congratulations. You survived. You survived 4 years of being bored or annoyed, of being mocked for what or who or how you loved, of looking around at all the various clumps of people and realizing you didn't quite fit into any of them. You got through making jokes only the teachers got, and even then, not all of them. You made it through all your struggles while hiding how much you were struggling. You did it, and I've got good news for you, high school class of 2020. It's all over. You're going to go from being the smartest person in the room to wondering if you even belong in the room. You're going to meet people and make friends who are smarter than you, more creative than you, more delightful than you, and miracle of miracles, those people are going to think the same thing about you. You are going to be a misfit who fits in a whole crowd of misfits. Congratulations, high school class of 2020. You're all going to Grinnell. But we're not going to let you on the campus for a couple years. And also, when you get there, be wary of something called Hawkeye vodka. Now then, on with today's remarks. Like I said, I spent some time with some of you last night, so I can say with confidence that I am not smarter than any of you. And I'm not going to make up for that by falling back on cliches, telling you to follow your dreams, stand up for yourselves, work hard. If you hadn't already done that, you wouldn't be here today. After 4 years of impossibly hard work and, well, about 2 years, 2.5 of good times, of training your mind and expanding it, not just on Alice, of finding out what it is that you are very good at and getting a sense of what you want to do with your one precious life, it's all over. Starting tomorrow, you'll be living in a world that, for some of you, perhaps for the first time, will present you with infinite possibilities. Your choices will no longer be limited to what's in a course catalog. The course you do choose will last much longer than a semester. The grading system will be inscrutable. You will often not know how you are doing, and if you do poorly, you will not be able to make it up on the final. Some of the skills that got you this far will be highly relevant in the rest of your lives. Some of them will be absolutely useless, and you won't know which is which until it's too late. From now on, there will be no preset landmarks on your timeline. No block party at the end, no Grinnell relays, no tit head. The landmarks will be your own. There will be no 10-10, or every day can be 10-10. Which I do not recommend. I speak from experience. I received an expensive and thorough education, and yet once loosed upon the world many years ago, consistently found myself stunned by how much knowledge I had, and yet how little I knew. There are certain things you can learn in only one of two ways, either by making terrible mistakes yourself or having somebody who made those mistakes try to save you that trouble. Hello. So let me try to do you a solid and share some of the things I learned the hard way in the many, many years since I sat where you sit now. Perhaps in your very last moments as a college student, I can add just a little bit to your Grinnell education. One of the things I have learned, in fact, is that sometimes what seem like very complex problems can be very simple. For example, getting what you want, actually quite easy. The hard part is figuring out what you want in the first place. It's both hard to know your own heart and also to resist the massive machinery designed to make you think that all you need to be happy is something that makes somebody else a profit. If someday you face a difficult choice between two competing opportunities, the proverbial fork in the road, choose the one that will lead to the best anecdote later on. As hard as it is to imagine right now, you're all going to be old farts someday, sitting around swapping stories, and you'll want to have good ones. The best way to avoid being caught in a lie is never do anything you have to lie about. If you are here today, your family has been, if they're here with you today, your family has been wonderful to you, and you should treasure them. If, for whatever reason, that is not the case, here's the great news. You get to make your own families. Some of you already have while here. It is actually a good idea to get married. You do not want to have to take an Uber to the emergency room, because if you then have to stay at the hospital, the Uber driver won't visit you. Or worse, he will. However, and with apologies to the aforementioned place kicker, what marriage means is entirely up to you. You can be married legally or not, to someone of the same sex, opposite sex, no sex, or both, to one person, two people, or as many as you all like. You can have children or not, pets or not, live together or not. There are no rules other than what you and your spouse or spice agree on, and even then the rules can be changed. And here is the secret to a good marriage. Marry the right person. How do you know if it's the right person? Well, that is somebody who is somehow deluded into thinking you are much better than you actually are, and is someone that you like enough that you're willing to spend every day of your life preventing them from finding out the truth. Sex is a different thing than love, and you should never confuse one for the other. Think of one as food and the other as drink. Most people need both. You can survive on just one, but it's very hard and ultimately unpleasant, and soon you will feel like you were dying either of thirst or hunger, as the case may be. If you're lucky, you get to have both at each meal. If you're really lucky, the wine will pair with the entree. Speaking of sex, here's the secret to being good at it. Didn't know you'd be getting this today, would you? But here's the secret. You may have wondered. Do what the other person or persons want you to do. Here's how to find out what that is. Ask them. And if you are asked, tell. By the way, most of these ideas that I've just shared with you, like really hip neighborhoods, were discovered by the queer people of my generation and older. They didn't have access to the standard notions of what happiness is supposed to be, husband, wife, white picket fence, 2.5 kids, church on Sunday, so they had to go and find out what happiness really was, and we all get to benefit. If you decide to pursue a career, in any kind of organization, you will rise in that organization and thus in your chosen career, not by being the smartest person or even the hardest working. Hardworking people are really annoying. Instead, be useful. Life is hard. Everybody you meet, no matter how confident they seem, is silently screaming for help. Let me just put this over here. If you can make life and work easier for someone else, even by a little, they will treasure you and keep you around. They will teach you how to do things that you don't yet know how to do, so you can be even more useful. Speaking of not knowing things, even though you have received an excellent education from a prestigious institution, starting from this moment, you know nothing. Act accordingly. Do not fake it till you make it. Fakers are easy to spot, and everybody hates them even more than they hate the people who work hard. Instead, use the skill you actually learned here while you thought you were learning anthropology or French or math, how to learn. The only people you encounter in your life who will be annoyed by your genuine curiosity are the people you don't want to learn from in the first place. If you decide to pursue a creative calling, you will have to make a lot of crap before you make anything good, so get started now. The reason for this is not your lack of talent, but because the best tool you have for finding your own voice as a creative person is your own dissatisfaction. Every successful artist spent years making things, looking at those things, and saying, no, that's not it, and trying again. Further, there is only one good reason to put in the work and time and disappointment and frustration of making anything new in this world. It isn't fame, and it isn't money, or any other potential reward. The only reason to make something new is because there is something you want to see in the world and it isn't there yet. Make the thing that you want to be able to see in the world. And once you've done that, you just have to hope that there are other people who are as equally excited about it. There might not be. There are countless artists who made brilliant things that satisfied their deepest desires and nobody ever cared. No matter. It is the only way. As I've said, for many of you, tomorrow will be the first time you did not have a next step ready for you. I know that feeling too. You've essentially been on a ladder from your whole life, from preschool till now, and you have devoted yourself to climbing to the highest rung you could. It is natural right now for your reaching hand to be groping for the next rung. I did that too. But I'm going to advise those of you who have the freedom to do it, which I think is more than you might think, to get off the ladder for a while. Take a trip. Work as a bartender in Ireland or in a cattle ranch in Montana. Drive a bus in Vail so you can ski on the weekends. Come to Chicago and start a band or a theater company. Just screw around. Although, speaking now momentarily as a parent, please don't do it at home. The ladder will be there when you get back. In the meantime, you'll have some great anecdotes and maybe a new tattoo. And when anybody asks you about it, you'll say, oh, it's a long story. And you'll just smile a bit before changing the subject. Finally, if you are at all like me, as I was in a similar day more than 3 decades ago, you are thinking about your autobiography, even if you wouldn't put it that way. Some of you, like I did, assume you'll be famous enough so that someone else will write it for you. Some of you, unlike me, will be right. But many of you will be wondering what your life story will be, what accomplishments and honors will be included in it, how many rewards there will be for your talent and good looks, and now, of course, since you've heard the secret from me, for your skills in the bedroom. I don't want you to think about your autobiography. I want to encourage you today to think about your obituary. Your autobiography is written by you as a way of toting up your accomplishments, the goals you've met, the honors you've won. Your obituary is written by someone else, and while it may include those things, it will focus instead on what's more important, what you meant to people. At the climax of A Christmas Carol, Scrooge is terrified by a vision of his own death as scavengers fight over his drapery. Now, when I first came across that story as a child, it was the Mr. Magoo version, for those of you who might be curious, I assumed Scrooge was terrified that he was going to die, and then by reforming and being nice to Tiny Tim, he wouldn't die. But of course, that wasn't it. He was terrified because when he died, if he died, as he was, the only thing he would leave behind would be his possessions, and they would soon be possessed by others, and the very faint traces he left in the world would be gone. Now, early in that story, earlier on, his own nephew tells him, quote, to think of people as if they really were fellow passengers to the grave, unquote, which, let's face it, is a pretty bleak thought for Christmas, not to mention a commencement, but it has the benefit of being true. So, start working on your obituary today. Make sure there are lots of juicy stories in it. Treat each person you meet as a potential source for the person who will write it. Will they say a room brightened when you entered it, or did eyes roll? Did you ask for help when you needed it, confident you'd return that gift in spades when asked? Did you go further and help people who never could or would do a thing for you? Did you spend your time and energy focusing on the person you think you want to be, driven, successful, dominant in their field, or instead trying to be the person that others, and let's be honest, even you, would want to be with? Because I've met a lot of very successful people whose names you all know. And I've met a lot of kind and caring and generous and light people you haven't heard of and never will, and I know which of them I'm most excited to see. Someday, you will face a difficult situation, a provocation, a challenge, a loss, a betrayal even. All those things are coming for all of you. I'm sorry. You will be angry and hurt, and you won't know what to do. Here's what you do. You use your superpower. Time travel. You look into the future, an hour from that moment, a day, a year, and ask yourself, looking back on that moment of trial from that in the future, what would you want to have done? If somebody had chosen to be with you at that moment for the anecdotal value, what story would you want them to tell about you? I am told that one thing all of you Grinnellians have in common is that you all want to change the world. And I don't blame you, it's in pretty bad shape. By the way, you're welcome. But I have bad news for you. It's very hard to change the world. There are a lot of people in it, and some of them like it the way it is, the fools. Also, the people who actually change the world all by themselves almost never change it for the better. That's because it's very hard to build things and very easy to wreck them. That's a law of physics, the second law of thermodynamics. You might have heard about that. That without a tremendous expenditure of energy and time, systems tend toward disorder and decay. I have 2 young children now, a 3-year-old and a toddler, and the 3-year-old likes to build elaborate towers out of his blocks. It takes a lot of time and focus and effort on his part, and his toddler brother likes to knock them down, which takes a single swipe of his arm. That's just how the world works. There are good people who focus their gifts and energy on building one single tower carefully by trial and error, block by block, and then there are people who announce they don't like all those towers and kick them all down. usually while announcing that they are making towers great again. But build that tower anyway. Plan it, shape it, create it, protect it. One tower of blocks won't change the world, but it might inspire others to build theirs. Maybe it will help you make the next tower you build even better. And even if not, even if it just stands alone, this tower you've made, well, as crappy as it might seem, the world will at least have one beautiful tower in it. It's been a long time since I sat where you sit now. I had plans and ambitions and a full checklist of honors and accomplishments I wanted to include in my memoirs, and I've accumulated some. You're about to hear a few of them. But I don't really care when my time comes to have my obituary written if it mentions any of those things. I hope it says I was kind more often than I was oblivious to people, generous more often than cramped and worried, that I was a good son and father and husband and friend. I know, by the way, there are people out there who would not say those things about me right now, but again, mistakes are a treasure and that you can learn not to repeat them. I hope they say that the work I ended up doing mattered to people. Maybe it helped them get through a tedious task. Maybe it brightened their lives. Maybe just a single day, because, and here's another thing I have learned in my years, you string enough days together, you have a whole lifetime. And of course, it is possible that you, the Grinnell class of 2024, might also mention me someday. If somebody asks what happened at your commencement in that tumultuous year, was it canceled? Were there protesters, boycotts, and walkouts? Well, no, you'll say, but there was a guy who told dad jokes on public radio who talked to us about death. I hope that some of the things I had to say, though, were useful to you. Even if not, I hope that today provides a good story. Graduates, you've made it, not to the end, but to the starting line. I wish you vast success in all the things that matter and the wisdom to know what they are. May you bring joy to everyone you meet, and may they all do the same for you. And when your obituary is written many, 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 many years from now, may it say of you, as I hope mine says of me, we will miss them so much, but man, we were glad they were here. Have we got stories? Congratulations.
President Harris, it's my pleasure to present those persons of high accomplishment and distinction to whom the faculty and trustees of this college wish to accord honorary degrees. I have the honor to present Peter Segal for the honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters.
Over the course of his career, Peter Segal has been a screenwriter, foreign correspondent, documentary host, and magician's assistant. But he is best known for his quarter century at the helm of the extraordinarily popular NPR News quiz show, Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. If it seems all but impossible to imagine anyone else in the host chair for the national show today, it is because he's made it his own. When a friend reached out to him in the late 1990s about an opportunity to be a part of a new quiz show, the qualifications for participants were simply funny people who read a lot of newspapers. Segal fit the bill. He was a panelist at the show's 1998 launch, and within 5 months, he had been hired as the host. Since then, Segal has interviewed Nobel Prize winners, astronauts, Oscar winners, and 2 U.S. presidents. He has been instrumental in growing the show from 50,000 weekly listeners to more than 5 million listeners on more than 700 stations. Wait, Wait is the single most listened to hour on public radio. During the course of his career, he's been recognized with the Peabody Award and a Kurt Vonnegut Award for Humor. For bringing new perspectives, razor-sharp insights, and levity to the world around us, we are proud to recognize Peter Segal.
Peter Sagal, on recommendation of the faculty of this college and with approval of the Board of Trustees, I admit you to the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
President Harris, I have the honor to present Alvin Irby, class of '07, the honorary degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
For Alvin Irby, the numbers were devastating. Studies showed that more than 80% of Black fourth grade boys were not proficient in reading. Irby had spent years as an elementary school teacher in New York City, and these statistics were more than numbers to him. They were stories of young boys who didn't have the reading support they needed. Irby knew it didn't have to be this way. Those numbers spurred Irby to create Black barbershop books in 2013. The nonprofit partners with libraries, school districts, and community-based barbershops to create child-friendly reading spaces in barbershops. In recent years, Barbershop Books work has expanded to include the development of an e-library and edtech solutions for schools. Today, the numbers Irby shares are inspiring. Barbershop Books has more than 250 partners in more than 50 cities and 20 states, including Iowa. Irby's TED Talk on inspiring lifelong readers has been viewed more than 1 million times. Irby and Barbershop Books have been frequently recognized for their impact. In 2017, the National Book Foundation awarded Barbershop Books its Innovations in Reading Prize. In the past year alone, Barbershop Books has earned a South by Southwest Community Service Award, and Irby has been featured on The Today Show and in a Doritos commercial. For his work, expanding reading opportunities for Black boys and other vulnerable children, and for his contributions to early literacy and community engagement, we are pleased to recognize Alvin Irby, class of 2007.
On the recommendation of the faculty of this college and with approval of the Board of Trustees, I hereby admit Alvin Irby, '07, to the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, President Harris, Grinnell College faculty and trustees, for this tremendous honor. Congratulations, Grinnell College class of 2024, for persevering through the many papers, exams, and labs that got you to this moment. And to all the family and friends who have supported the graduates along the way, and myself included, thank you. Today, I want to invite you to reflect on identity, both the identities that you carry and the identities that you cultivate. I'm being honored because of the reading advocacy and the impact of my nonprofit. But long before Barbershop Books began inspiring Black boys to read in barbershops, two identities that I've carried since birth were already shaping my path. I was born the son of an elementary school teacher and the son of a barber. My mom taught in the Little Rock School District in Arkansas for more than 30 years, and my dad was a barber for most of his life. Since graduating from Grinnell College in 2007, Grinnellian has been more than an identity that I've carried. It has been an identity that I have actively and literally cultivated. As a New York City kindergarten teacher, our class name and mascot was the Grinnell Squirrels. And much like Grinnell, I endeavored to inspire my students to not just read and learn, but to more importantly, to identify as learners. My classroom had a $1 million word wall. And whenever we would encounter interesting, juicy words, we would stop everything in the class, we would go to the classroom rug, and we would draw the words in the air, we would act them out, and then I would write the word on an index card, and I would hold it like it was the most precious thing in the world. And, you know, students would raise their hand to volunteer to go put it on our $1 million word wall, and something interesting started to happen. Students started to come into the classroom and say, "Psst, psst, Mr. Irby, I got $1 million word." And I would say, "Okay, well, whisper it in my ear." And they would tell me, and then I would say, "That's 600,000, that's 600,000. And they would get mad. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a word on the $1 million word." But I would say, "Where did you hear that word?" "Oh, on the news, on the radio. I heard it at the park." I learned very quickly that no matter how good I was as a teacher, if my students didn't read and learn outside of school, they would be ill-equipped to combat the inequities and misinformation that characterize life in the 21st century. America and the world face countless threats from well-educated people using their intellect, power, and privilege to maim, murder, manipulate, divide, oppress, and exploit. More than $250 billion is spent annually on advertising in the United States alone. So there's no shortage of interests that stand ready to tell you who you should be and what you should care about. What are you going to do with the privileges, power, and opportunities that a Grinnell education affords you? Today, I challenge you not simply to carry your Grinnellian status like a badge, but embrace it as a utility belt. Use what you've learned and the experiences that you've had here to pursue your passions with humility. Embrace your global citizenship and unapologetically champion dignity for those who are marginalized and neglected by society. As you encounter people who have interacted with Grinnell students and alumni, you'll discover that our liberal arts education is revered. During the summer after my freshman year at Grinnell, I was a camp counselor at a science program for kids that was organized by the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences. While on a lunch break one day, I sat down at a table with two random strangers who just happened to be rocket scientists from NASA. Y'all can probably guess the first question that I had for these two rocket scientists. I asked, like, NASA? Yes, that NASA, they replied. We spoke briefly about the nanotechnology conference that brought them to my hometown of Little Rock. And then I mentioned that I was a student at Grinnell College, to which they both replied in unison, "You must be smart." Be emboldened with the knowledge that Grinnell alum have blazed trails of innovation, scholarship, and excellence. But most importantly, we have deployed our world-class education to make the world a better place. And that is my challenge and my dream for you, Grinnell class of 2024. Thank you.
President Harris, I have the honor to present Shane Rasmussen for the honorary degree Doctor of Science.
During his 3 decades as a math teacher, Shane Rasmussen has taught courses in pre-calculus, algebra, and geometry. But his students say some of the most important lessons they've learned from him are about believing in their own capacity to grow and learn. As the math department head at the high-performing Centennial High School in Circle Pines, Minnesota, Rasmussen loves helping students unlock a difficult concept for the first time. He knows that when students develop confidence in one area, it can extend into other parts of their lives. While many students excel in Rasmussen's courses, they are most likely to highlight their appreciation for his interest in their lives beyond the 55-minute class period. He finds numerous ways to recognize them as whole human beings. He attends their choir concerts and asks them about their day. Students say that they deeply appreciate the warm and welcoming atmosphere that he creates in his classroom. As a coach for volleyball, basketball, baseball, and fishing teams, Rasmussen has reinforced the lessons of dedication and resilience that he expects in the classroom. He also serves as National Honor Society advisor, where he supports students making a difference in the community. For his decades of work helping students succeed in the classroom while also recognizing their many accomplishments beyond it, we are proud to honor Shane Rasmussen.
Shane Rasmussen, on the recommendation of the faculty of this college and with approval of the Board of Trustees, I admit you to the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
Thank you, President Harris, Dean Montgomery, Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and of course, students of Grinnell for this special honor. I would also like to thank Paul Hutchinson and his wife Jackie, Janelle Veit, Jenny Ferris, and all the other wonderful people at Grinnell for making this such an incredible experience for me. One of the best parts of this weekend has been getting to meet the other honorees and their families. And I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Peter, Elvin, and Stuart for their many significant contributions in their respective fields. I also want to thank Elvin. He gave me a tip on how to teach trigonometric ratios, so I'm kind of excited to try that. So you never know what you're going to learn. I also want to give a huge thank you to my beautiful wife, Amanda, for the many years of love and support. Amanda is a special ed teacher, and without a doubt, the hardest working teacher I've ever known. So Amanda, I share 12% of this honor with you. Although an argument could be made for 15. Little Avengers reference. I have been truly blessed to do something that I love for the past 30 years. And during that time, I've experienced many changes. Curriculums have come and gone. I've been a part of many educational initiatives, some that have been successful and some that, let's just say, have been less successful. I've had a front row seat at the technological renaissance in our classroom. I mean, heck, when I started, we didn't even have phones or computers in the classroom. And now, almost every student carries both in their back pocket. And there's this other thing, too. It's pretty significant. Oh, yeah, that's right. We had to navigate a global pandemic. And no group of students were more affected than you. And so, you know, as I was getting ready this morning and I heard the rain falling, and I just thought, really? These guys finally deserve an amazing commencement. And I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but Mother Nature, thank you, because this couldn't be a nicer day. You deserve this. There is no doubt that the role of an educator is ever changing. However, the one thing that has stood the test of time is the power of human connection. Relationships are at the heart of what I do. At the end of our days, when you reflect on your life, it's not going to be how much money you made. It's not going to be the things we accumulated. It's not going to be the number of followers that you have on social media that's going to really matter. It's going to be the people with whom we chose to share our lives that's going to make the difference. Perhaps the best evidence can be seen by just looking around this ceremony. These people aren't here because they had nothing else going on a Monday morning. They're here because of you. And I want to applaud them. Thank you for supporting them, because I think we should give them a big round of applause. I encourage you to invest in these relationships. Cherish them as if there's nothing else that matters, because they are truly the only things that do matter. I'm so incredibly humbled and honored to be here today. It's hard to put into word what this means to me, but what makes this honor extra special is why I'm here. Specifically, the person who nominated me. Where are you, Abby? Over there somewhere? Abby, I knew 6 years ago that you are a force to be reckoned with. And now with the experience that you've gained from Grinnell, you're going to be unstoppable. And I can't wait to see what you do next. I'm so proud of you, but being here today, watching you walk across this stage, that truly inspires me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me make this happen for me. And finally, thank you, class of 2024, for allowing me the opportunity to share this special day with you. I know your story is only just beginning, but I hope you take time to reflect and celebrate the significance of this day. Congratulations on a job well done, and the best of luck in your future endeavors.
President Harris, I have the honor to present Stuart Yeager, class of '82, for the honorary degree, Doctor of Laws.
When Stuart Yeager was a sophomore at Grinnell, he participated in an ACM Urban Studies program that included stops in England, the Netherlands, and Yugoslavia. During the program, he authored a paper on the treatment of Jamaican immigrants in London's Brixton neighborhood during the 1950s. This interest in the immigrant experience proved to be more than a passing phase. It has driven his work for more than 3 decades. Yeager earned a degree from Grinnell in American Studies with a concentration in African American Studies. He went on to earn a law degree from Tulane University, then spent the next 5 years working on legislative and regulatory legal matters for 2 Washington, D.C. law firms. In 1989, Yeager opened his own law firm, Yeager and Etkin, and began focusing exclusively on immigration and nationality law. Since then, he has represented thousands of immigrants, most of whom are women who have suffered from the effects of gender inequality. These immigrants derive from over 120 countries from around the world. His clients have included victims of human trafficking, torture survivors, and victims of domestic violence and homophobia. For his tireless efforts to use the law to fight for our most vulnerable newcomers, we are proud to honor Stuart Yeager, class of 1982.
Stuart Yeager, class of 1982, on recommendation of the faculty of this college and with approval of the Board of Trustees, I admit you to the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Thank you very much for this honor, and congratulations to the awesome and resilient class of 2024 who survived COVID. As you leave Grinnell for other amazing adventures, you will quickly discover, as I did, that you really never leave Grinnell. Your experiences here will be part of you forever, and some of your professors will travel with you throughout your life. When I counsel my immigration clients, I still think of Doug Calkins, my anthropology professor, who introduced me to a world of tribes and cultures. And when wandering through an art gallery, I finally recall my art professor, Richard Servine, who opened my eyes to a diversity of art and design. And when I try to make sense of the character of our recent presidents, I think of my advisor, Wayne Moyer, whose tutorial on the presidential character was my favorite class of all time. Welcome. We are now in the midst of one of the greatest mass migrations in history. In fact, the World Bank reports that 184 million people now live outside their country of nationality. Approximately 20% of those migrants reside right here in the United States. It is a daunting statistic, but if managed well, migration can be a powerful engine for economic prosperity here in this country as younger workers revitalize an aging U.S. workforce, and also they will shore up our ailing Social Security system. I have spent the last 30 years working as an immigration attorney and feel privileged to have had the opportunity to learn from so many newcomers from around the world. I've seen firsthand the positive impact immigrants have on our communities, and the recurring themes of hard work, resilience, courage, moral fortitude, and boundless creativity are character traits we can all strive to emulate. From the very moment they arrive on our soil, these newcomers embrace the American work ethic, just like my client Cecilia from Honduras, who has both a daytime and a nighttime job as an elder care provider. Cecilia works 80 hours per week to support herself, her 2 children, and a host of relatives back home. Asylum seekers like Sister Marie, a Carmelite nun from Cameroon, inspire us with their courageous acts. While acting as a poll monitor at her local voting precinct, Sister Marie bravely stood between 6 armed security forces and a ballot box to, in her own words, quote, protect my people's God-given right to self-determination through an election process free from corruption. She paid a very high price for defending her democratic principles, some that we take for granted here in the United States. Other immigrants share their creative and innovative skills, like 2 brothers from a family of Serbian sculptors who created an entire line of jewelry consisting of wearable miniature sculptures, and like a Greek statistician who helped the FDA save millions of dollars by utilizing data mining to more efficiently facilitate the drug certification process. I am particularly grateful to Grinnell College for preparing me so well for my life's journey. As a senior, I conducted oral histories and research on the Black experience at Grinnell during the college's first 100 years. Alumni of all ages invited me to their homes to share their personal journeys. The project turned out to be one of the most meaningful experiences of my life, as it taught me empathy for those with very different life experiences. Most importantly, it awakened me to the sheer power of oral testimony, which I rely upon in many federal immigration proceedings. This September, I will reunite with a courageous woman who I interviewed here at Grinnell more than 40 years ago. In the height of the Great Depression in 1933, when Grinnell College would only hire Black women as cooks and domestics, a young woman named Edith Renfro, who grew up here in the town of Grinnell, had the audacity to, in her own words, recruit herself to attend her hometown college, and she became the first Black woman to graduate from Grinnell College in 1937. We will welcome Edith Renfro Smith back to the college at the amazing age of 110 to dedicate a beautiful residence hall bearing her name, Renfro Hall. From its very founding, Grinnell College has had a tradition of producing pioneers who unleashed forces for positive change in the world. You, my fellow graduates, will also go out into the world and make your own mark in a multiplicity of disciplines. I look forward to reading about all of your amazing adventures in the years ahead. Congratulations again to the graduates and their families in reaching this momentous day, and thanks for this beautiful honor. Thank you.
It is now my privilege as president to recognize members of the faculty who, after long, meaningful, and devoted tenure at the college, shaping thousands of lives, are entering upon emeritus status. As your name is called, I invite you to stand if you wish as I read your citation. I now recognize Eugene Gaub, Professor of Music. Whether he was, yes, wonderful. Whether he was teaching in the classroom or performing in a concert hall, pianist and Professor Gene Gaub paired the skills of a top-flight musician with the wide-ranging curiosity of a liberal arts champion. After earning degrees from the Juilliard School of Music and the Eastman School of Music, Gaub arrived at Grinnell in 1995. He taught private piano lessons, courses in music theory, and first-year tutorials on Mozart and Frank Lloyd Wright. He performed frequently at Herrick Chapel and helped bring some of the nation's very best professional musicians to Grinnell for performances. For helping students appreciate music through both performance and close academic study, we are pleased to recognize Eugene Gaub. I now recognize Susan Ireland, the Orville and Mary Patterson Rout Professor of Literature and Professor of French and Arabic. As someone who immigrated to the United States from England via France, Susan Ireland brings a unique perspective to her scholarly interests, which relate primarily to post-colonial studies and include the literature of immigration and diaspora in France and Quebec. These are subjects that have infused her work in and beyond the classroom. She has served as an advisor for students studying the literature of immigration and has mentored many students who arrived at Grinnell from other countries. For her dedication to her scholarship and for inspiring new generations of students to pursue the field with similar enthusiasm, we are pleased to recognize Susan Ireland. I now recognize Ellen Meese, Associate Professor of Theater. Inspired by the director and Grinnell alumna Hallie Flanagan, later Davis, and the living newspaper of her federal theater project, Ellen Meese entered academic theater at Vassar, where Hallie Flanagan once taught experimental theater in the 1920s. Little did she know that she would end up at Grinnell, the place where Davis had graduated in 1911, directing plays in Flanagan Studio Theater. She's coached actors and dramaturgs across the classics, Sophocles, Shakespeare, Chekhov, and Beckett. She's taught interdisciplinary intellectual and cultural history here and in London and Florence. She's read Homer, Virgil, The Divine Comedy, and Finnegan's Wake with students hungry for big books. For her efforts to expand their horizons while helping students develop as lifelong practitioners and discerning audiences of theater and culture, we are pleased to recognize Ellen Meese. I now recognize Katya Gibel-Meverak, Professor of Anthropology. Katya Gibel-Meverak, whose mother was a Jewish refugee from Nazi-occupied Austria and whose father was Jamaican, grew up in New York City. She was invited to Grinnell in 1996 and went on to become the first Black faculty member promoted to full professor at the college. Her award-winning Go for it. Yes. Her award-winning scholarly work on racism, anti-Semitism, and inequality has been called brilliant and path-breaking by scholars, including professor and activist Michael Eric Dyson. She has been invited to speak nationally and internationally on topics including the legacy of racism in the academic curriculum. Among her many accomplishments, Gibel-Meverak has published a highly acclaimed book on Black, Jewish, and interracial identities, and been awarded a prestigious grant from the Alliance to Advance Liberal Arts Colleges to support work on unteaching racism and racial taxonomy. In the classroom, Professor Gibel-Meverak has inspired and empowered students with her unyielding insistence on intellectual integrity and critical thinking. For a career that has both pushed her field forward and supported a new generation of scholars and teachers, we are pleased to recognize Katya Gibel-Meverak. I now recognize Mark Montgomery, the Donald L. Wilson Professor of Enterprise and Leadership and Professor of Economics. Martin Montgomery has spent his career trying to convince students that economics is anything but the dismal science. His research on topics including education, economics, and labor economics helped make him the most cited associate professor of economics at any liberal arts college in the United States in the early 2000s. With his wife, fellow Grinnell economist Irene Powell, he co-authored a book, Saving International Adoption, an argument from economics and personal experience, that was a Choice Review's outstanding academic title of 2018. During his time at Grinnell, Montgomery taught on topics including environmental economics and econometrics. Yes. His first-year tutorial included Dire Warnings, a course on pessimism and optimism about the world's future. For using the field of economics to illuminate the world around us with clarity and nuance, we are pleased to recognize Mark Montgomery. And lastly, I now recognize Professor Ralph Savarese. It is my honor to recognize Professor Savarese as a faculty member moving to senior faculty status. Senior faculty status recognizes those members of the faculty who wish to be released from their regular full-time teaching obligations to pursue scholarly and professional activities associated with the college. Professor Savarese, we wish you well.
President Harris, family, and friends, the Dean of the College will now present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
Yes. Would the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree please rise? President Harris, on recommendation of the faculty of Grinnell College, I present to you these candidates for the degree of Bachelors of Arts. Having fulfilled all the academic requirements, they are deemed worthy of and entitled to this degree.
Judge Gray, as president of Grinnell College, I now recommend to the Board of Trustees, through you as one of its members, that each of these students be graduated to the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
President Harris, the charter of this institution states that the college's object shall be to promote the general interests of education and to qualify young people for the different professions and for the honorable discharge of the various duties of life. It is a pleasure for me to acknowledge that these students have not only completed a course of formal study at this institution, but have also come to know the demands and the rewards of a shared experience in learning. As such, they have indeed furthered the general interests of education and qualified themselves for the honorable discharge of the various duties of life. The Board of Trustees is therefore pleased to accept your recommendation and authorizes you as president to grant the respective degrees earned with all rights, privileges, duties, and responsibilities thereto appertaining.
Thank you. By the authority vested in me by the trustees of Grinnell College, I now officially declare that having met all the requirements, you are today granted the degree of Bachelor of Arts and are admitted to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities that it confers. Congratulations. You may now be seated.
President Harris, Tish Solomon, and alum Jane Cheney, class of '05, will call the graduates. Will the graduates to the Bachelor of Arts degree please come to the platform as instructed by the marshals?
Caitlin Abreu.
Meghna Adhikari.
Shreyas Agrawal.
Julia Aguilera Pan.
Irene Augusti.
Oluwatobi Jemima Alabi.
Anil Alper, in absentia.
Emily Elizabeth Anderson.
Kendrion Charles J. Anderson.
Cambria Anson.
Caitlin Atkin.
Frances Joyce Atmore.
Jonathan Americ Bachman.
Anne Border.
Isadora Bailey Hall. It is my pleasure to present the first Archibald Prize winner, Isadora Bailey Hall. The Andrew W. Archibald Prize for the highest scholarship is awarded at each commencement to that student or students who have attained the best record of academic achievement over the 4-year period of collegiate work. Established in 1927, the award is named for its donor, the Reverend Andrew W. Archibald, who served as a distinguished member of the College Board of Trustees. Congratulations.
Nina Baker.
Kelly Wade Banfield.
Kripa Bansal.
Samuel Bates.
Samuel Layden Bayless.
Garrett James Bean.
Arlo Noah Beckman.
Haley Nicole Belcher.
Meredith Helen Benjamin.
Carter Andrew Benson.
Tali Amatai Burke.
Megan Isabella Bernacchi.
Antonio Bernardo.
Hayden Bovsar.
Gillian Elaine Bouyan.
Evan Powell Borberg.
Tanme Bothra.
Rachel E. Bottom, in absentia.
Rebecca Bazo.
Peter Bramson.
Halver Boxrud Bratland.
Emily Catherine Brewer.
Henry Francis Bridgers.
Ian Wagner Brown.
Sarah Jane Bryan.
Caleb Whitaker Burns.
Marina Grace Busby.
Mary Elizabeth Calhoun.
Melina Contelmere.
Mika Cantor.
Zachary Charles Cantrell.
Georgia Elizabeth Carboni.
Genevieve Marie Carchidi.
Matilda B. Karn.
Elisa Carrasco Lanucci.
Marcy Cassidy Mapp.
Deepit Changotia.
William Roberts Chapin.
Emmett Abdul Rahman Chima.
Ellis Chen.
Xiao Chen in absentia.
Lauren Elizabeth Chen.
Dylan Jacob Chern.
Samantha Chu.
Evelyn Coffey.
Haley Madison Collins.
John T. Connolly.
Eleanor Elizabeth Corbin.
Grace Couture.
Jules Kovitz.
Anthony Cruz Avila.
Maya Elizabeth DeGrazia.
Amelia Denick.
Reipeng Deng.
Finn William Dirks Brown.
Emma Luciana DiGiacomo Zahler.
Duan Nyat Haung.
Cade David Dolphin.
Eris Noreen Dominguez.
Yawen Dong.
Sabrina Dordovic.
Taylor Jean Durack.
Charlotte Noel Deuce.
Henry Clark Dorkin.
Ari Dawn DeWalkin Cantor.
Ariel Amy Claire Deich.
Evelyn Maria Jekan.
David Michael Eason.
Daniel East.
Elias Eichner.
Amelia May Eierman.
Nick Elhaj.
Camille Elizabeth Ellie.
Mari Elliott.
Carter English.
Derek Estep.
Leonard Zygmunt Estagomi.
Muhammad Faim.
Connor Berkey Fahey.
Noah Fair.
Ana Beatriz Fernandez Costa.
Brenna Hunt Fertig.
Jada Sales Fife.
Vanessa Isabel Maria Jose Figueroa Weston.
Andrea Laureen Filkins.
Lucia Rhodes Silver Finkelstein.
Joseph Julian Fisk.
Michael James Flaherty.
Claire May Foley.
Talia Foley.
Joshua Keone Fournier.
Rebecca Louise Fox.
Elizabeth Darren Fraser.
Toby George Frick.
Elena Eva Friedman.
Reja Fu.
Gen Fukuhara.
Andrew John Fuller.
Ariana Furlong.
Malcolm Philip Galpern Levine.
Nancy Lopez Garcia.
Isabel Susan George.
Ruby Gers.
The President's Medal is awarded annually at each commencement. It is awarded annually to the senior who exemplifies the ideals of Grinnell College: superior scholarship, demonstrated leadership that credits both the student and the college, compassionate and sensitive behavior, and individual responsibility are among the qualities that must be demonstrated. It is my pleasure to present the President's Medalist for 2024, Faven Adana Gaetacho.
Iowana Yanaku.
Alessandra Danielle Gibson.
Jonah Gilmore.
Jan Kaspar Glor.
Come on, Ayo! Where my GoPro?
Marissa Goffman.
Solomon Charles Golden.
Langchang Gung.
Rodolfo Gonzalez Rivera.
Brian Goodall.
Elon Granston.
Jasper Thomas Gray.
Richard Lorenzo Gray.
Will Green.
Will Gresham.
Madison Taylor Gummer.
Lucas Mark Hadding.
Matilda Shizuku Haddock.
Sean Haggerty, in absentia.
Samantha Hall.
Eric Hallberg.
Goen Han, in absentia.
Lexi Lidster Hankinson.
Hope Noel Harrington.
William Alexander Hart.
Kristen Hartman.
Jingqian Hong.
Jacob Martin Heinrich.
Ellen Hengesbach.
Abigail Herbrexmeyer.
Erin Hernandez.
Gabriela Hernandez.
Gabriela Maria Hernandez.
Rocio de la Cruz Hernandez.
Reese Madeline Hill.
Maya Renee Hines.
Seiju Hiroshi.
Huang and Mai.
Caleb Hinton Horeth.
Nathan August Hoffman.
Sterling Ash Holland.
Owen Andrew Holt Frank.
Dylan Suckman Hong.
Joel Nicholas Hooper Antunes, in absentia.
Ellen Horner.
William Coleman Horner.
Jacob Donald Hull.
M. Huslederman.
Rowan Gale Hutchinson.
Tate Gabriel Hutchinson.
Mohammed Igbaria.
Anna Grace Ingram.
Isabel Jackmott Parks.
Louis Isaac Grogan James.
Nandika Junjunwala.
Chen Zhang.
Timothy A. Johnson.
Llewellyn Reuben Samuel Johnston.
Ryan N. Jungers.
Denises Alandra Justo Soriano.
Tenmai Kalash.
David Kang.
Eleni Karipas.
Elsa Marie Kasten.
Mia Bumpus Kaufman.
Jenna Nicole Keller.
Libby Kerensky.
Augusta Kersulit.
Elena Ariana Keswani.
Laura Ray Kiley.
Kira Ann Killian.
David Kim.
Henara Kim Prieto.
Taylor Charles Kingery.
It is my pleasure to present the second Andrew W. Archibald Prize winner, Paris Addison King Levine. This award is achieved by attaining the best record of academic achievement over a 4-year period of collegiate work.
Lily Kirsch in absentia.
Olivia Elizabeth Klein.
Zoe Tate Knornchild.
Isabel Nicole Colith.
Jenna Kari Koloval.
Jefferson Lee Colmer.
Cicely Crutch.
Mark Creason.
Sahil Kumar.
Sulil Kumar.
Rosalie Kurtz.
Ivan Kue.
Beck Lambert.
Luke H. Langness.
Nora Damaris Leahy.
Claire Elizabeth Lynan.
Alicia Patience Levine.
Ang Lee.
Chang Yu Lee.
Erin Margaret Lillis.
Ludan Liu.
Valerie Rachel Lopez.
Stella Trinan Lowry.
Michael Ralph Lozada.
Abigail Lynch.
Harold Haran MacArthur.
Ian J. McMorran.
Mira Monchunda.
Jacob Walker March.
Jane March.
Connor Kingston Martin.
Genevieve Mercedes Clara Martinez.
Jocelyn Martinez.
Philip Matich.
Yota Matsunada, in absentia.
Lady Caris of Barris.
Erica Leonie McClure.
Brady Morris McHugh, in absentia.
Madeline Jean McKegg.
Tyler Anthony Meeks.
Ada Mail.
Braden Shane Miners.
Elijah S. Mendoza.
Adi Miglani.
Luca Hardy Mikek.
Malena Miles.
Fabio Jose Montilla Mendoza.
Allison Grace Moore.
Cecilia Marie Morelli.
Mushada Morocco.
Theodore Mart.
Zaid Mullen.
Timothy Brendan Murphy.
Krishna Mysore.
Zoe Namaker Baum.
Garrett Quinn Nassif.
Sira Nasoko.
Elizabeth Neese.
It is my pleasure to present the final Andrew W. Archibald Prize winner to Meredith Jane Nide. This award is achieved by attaining the best record of academic achievement over their 4-year period of collegiate work.
Nguyen Duc Hio.
Braden Matthew Juwan Nihe.
Scott Nissen.
Sophia Louise Noyes.
Maddie O'Brien.
Michael Joseph O'Connor.
William James Officer.
Dahe O.
Alexa Akemi Mili Nanea Maikalani Okada.
Aidan O'Keefe in absentia.
Anhuradha Oli.
Carl Peter Olsen Skoga.
Vinicius Onu Santana.
Nora Louise O'Prey.
John Riley Krieger O'Toole.
Alina Ovcharenko.
Ashley Stephanie Pacheco.
Kyung-mi Katie Peck.
Oliver Maxwell Palmer.
Grace Pearson.
Yushin Peng.
Handri Perez Garcia.
Parker Grace Perry.
Linda Pham.
Max Morling Pochin.
Alexander Thomas Porter.
Emmy Potter.
Jonah Pratt.
Tut Pukau Promonmad.
Brian Allen Prusman.
Yueyang Chu.
Andre J. Quinn.
Natalia Ramirez Jimenez.
Mairenis Ramos.
Oshi Ramos McCormick.
Bradley Ramsey.
Zoe Chapin Rasmussen.
Ava Rost in absentia.
Jacob Reck.
Emily Elizabeth Rhodes.
Selassie Sun Ricehill.
Sean Philip Richardson.
Theo Richter.
Bentley Joseph Reiber.
Ayana Mai Rockwell.
Giovanna Romero.
Marin Tamara Rigg Ronald.
Corey Wade Rosen.
Matthew Rosen.
Dorothy Anna Russell.
Jordan Maurice Ryan.
Henry J. Sanders V.
Oscar Germano Shedder.
Sophie Rose Schoenbaum.
Oliver Edgar Shaneborn.
Benjamin Caldwell Schwartz.
Mary Ann Barbara Schwint.
Caleb Caton Shaw.
Ori Shaham.
Ekta Sheikh.
Marshall Colquitt Williams Sharp.
Lisa Shen.
Benjamin Morris Short.
Tino Nudashe Shumba.
Yes, thank you.
Noah Sigmeyer.
Cora Silverman in absentia.
Aaliyah Madeline Singleton.
Spencer Elliott Skidmore.
Camus Smith Pierce.
Riku Smriga in absentia.
Kirill Sniff.
Minu San.
Bailey Austin Sowers.
Krista Maria Spies.
Caroline Eugenie Xiaoping St. Martin Norberg.
Sadie Alexandra Staker.
Duncan Collier Steele Maley.
David Stefanoff.
Christian Talbot Stevens.
Neil H. Stratton, Jr.
Ian Alistair Strawn.
Chris Stuckert.
Andrea Maria Suazo Rivas.
Lucy Joan Elizabeth Sukamel.
Gwenchen Suen.
Joshua Robert Sutton.
Samuel Takahashi.
Nina Takashima.
Giogo Tandetta Totorochi.
Maeve Colleen Tenona.
Simon Mulat Taye.
Adrian Elizabeth Thompson.
Madeline Stokes Thompson.
Akshat Tiwari in absentia.
Grayson Carter Towncalli.
Robert Tran.
Asel Tenzin Sering.
Phil M. Tyne.
Hiro Ushino.
Juliana Lane Vida.
Rejar Verma.
Elizabeth Ann Vermeulen.
Catherine Irene Vermeulen.
Liam Spencer Walsh.
Boyu Wang.
Yuje Wang.
Zikai Wang in absentia.
Kichiro Watanabe in absentia.
Mitsuru Watanabe.
Matthew Wedzina.
Allison Wehrman.
Ran Wei.
Sarah Vaughn Weiner.
Harvey Wilhelm.
Ethan Aird Wills.
Allison Lee Wan.
Grayson Earl Woodhouse, in absentia.
Maximilian Armut Worth.
Lily Wu.
Jaiman Wu.
Shinyoung Wu, in absentia.
Jinglin Xiang.
Jack Janoschik.
Kendall Hekyang Yim.
Julia Young Yu.
Sophia Jeanette Lee Youngdahl.
Moiz Ahmed Yusufi.
Che Young Yu.
Zhao Yu.
Ethan Yoon.
Charles Thomas Young.
Tanawin San Yuwajiti.
Hazal Deniz Zengar.
Xiao Yu Chung.
Zhixiong Chong.
Elizabeth Ann Zimmerman.
President Harris, these are the graduates of the class of 2024.
President Harris, the college at this time will recognize the members of the class of 2024 who have been accepted or completed the 9th semester program leading to Iowa teaching certification. Would these students please stand as we call their names and remain standing until we have completed the list? Ileana Antonella Diaz Rodriguez. Isaiah Emil Gutman. Chelsea Yu Shang. Christopher Dylan Victoria. Eleanor M. Reet. Julia Young Yu. Haley Collins. Kenji Kajita. Please be seated.
Will the graduates to the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise?
Well, class of 2024, the clouds parted for you. They really did. And then the sun shone in. So, my part is brief but heartfelt. Dear graduates of the class of 2024, we've gathered here today in the revered company of our venerable honorary degree recipients, of the esteemed faculty and staff of Grinnell College, and of your dearest loved ones from all over the country and the globe to celebrate you, to cherish you, and to honor you. You may now, this is for you, KJ, you may now move your tassels from the right to the left of your caps in the ceremonial acknowledgement of your tremendous accomplishments. It was whispered to me on stage, Grinnell degrees don't earn themselves. I will let you finish the sentence. Please join me in thanking Peter Sagal for his message to us today, for his presence among us, for his wit and verve. And our thanks to Alvin Irby, class of 07, Shane Rasmussen, and Stuart Yeager, class of 82, for their light and illumination. Thank you to the 9 seniors who are listed in your program as the Senior Commencement Committee and their multiple campus partners for making this incredible weekend possible and wonderful. Thank you to the Grinnell High School Band for their beautiful music, bringing us into this moment. And a really warm embrace to all of the parents, families, and loved ones who are here today, and to all the parents, families, and loved ones that graduating seniors have told me are joining us through our live stream from the home countries of Australia, Bhutan, Brazil, Canada, China, the Dominican Republic, Ethiopia, Germany, Greece, India, Jamaica, Japan, Lebanon, Mexico, Pakistan, Romania, South Korea, Spain, Ukraine, Venezuela, and Vietnam. Hello from Grinnell. So in the powerful words you've heard today and over the past 2 days, my fervent hope for you is that you have felt the deep respect and high regard in which all of us gathered here hold you, and how much we will continue to hold you and champion you and love you as you strive and persevere and press on in your brilliance, your work, all that you believe in, and all that you will make possible in a fraught and wondrous world. After I give the charge and before the final benediction, you will have the chance to throw your graduation caps in the air to begin to express the exuberance of this day and of our joy for you. And families, I will let you know ahead of time so you can get the cameras ready. So it is now my honor to present my charge to you, the graduating class of 2024. I do so through 3 experiences of the human condition that strive to speak to yours. The first is living in the unbearable stillness of an exploded diagram. If you've ever put together a piece of furniture from IKEA, or studied a diagram of a car engine or one of animal anatomy, you've seen an exploded diagram. All of the parts of the whole suspended in animation, existing in relationship, but not in motion. In the year 2020, you came to Grinnell in the unbearable stillness of a world held in the suspension of an exploded diagram by the COVID-19 pandemic coursing through an immuno-naive global population, and by the wrenching tragedy of the murder of George Floyd and its violation of Black life and Black joy. There was stillness and isolation and working so hard to find each other. And when we did come together, and we did, when the diagram of parts became a community of the whole, we each brought something wonderful and we each carried something weighty. You have lived in the unbearable stillness of an exploded diagram, and you have gathered into the vibrant possibility of a community. Through your hard-earned experience, you know how to do this. Secondly, living in the and of simultaneity, you learned to know and you taught us to understand that realities are simultaneous, that Grinnell is a rural town in Iowa and a place that exists within the global reach and thrill of more than 70 countries and languages, that there is war and suffering raging in too many parts of the world, and that there is the hard, sustained work of seeing each other's full humanity right here, that we can be visited and weighed down by grief, and that there is a poem or an idea or a friend that has given us comfort in the past that is waiting within reach right now. That Mrs. Edith Renfro Smith, the first Black alumna of Grinnell in 1937, whom we honor in the new Renfro Hall, experienced both the community and the barriers of Grinnell and said, yes, and you will always be my home. That Grinnell will forever be available to you as a deep wellspring to revisit and be refreshed by as you become alumni, and that it is an open field to the new Grinnellians who will walk on campus for the first time this fall. Third and last, finding each other in this age of pareidolia. Now, this marvel of a word, pareidolia, gives expression to the tendency to perceive a specific, often meaningful image in a random or ambiguous visual pattern. Pareidolia is a word of cognitive perception. It's seeing a famous person in a piece of toast. Elvis often shows up in toast. Or an animal in a cloud. Or a person's silhouette in the sand. Pareidolia is a word of cognitive perception that speaks to finding meaning in randomness, and maybe even wonder in ambiguity. I think it also speaks to the experience of these past 4 years, to searching for meaning and for each other in the midst of global scale ambiguity. And remember this word, unprecedented randomness. Now, in the magnificent 2018 novel, The Overstory by Richard Powers, pareidolia is described as the adaptation that makes people see people in all things. We are adapted to find each other in the random, in the absurd, in the ambiguous, in the complex. We seek each other out in what confounds us. And so may you strive, may you always try to find each other in what is most confounding and bewildering in our world and in our human condition. Dear graduates of the class of 2024, as you have all shaped Grinnell, so too will you shape the communities and societies of which you will be both constituents and characters. As you do, you bring the wisdom and experience of living in the unbearable stillness of an exploded diagram, living in the and of simultaneity, and finding each other in this age of pareidolia. Okay, families, we can get those cameras ready. Graduates of the class of 2024, you have achieved great things in your time here. You will accomplish many more, and it truly gives me hope for the world to be able to say to you, the class of 2024, go forth, Grinnellians, let those caps fly, and congratulations! All right, now, I will invite everyone else who has gathered with us today to stand as you are able to receive the benediction to send us on our way.
As we go forth from this ceremony, we congratulate these alums and their families on this impressive accomplishment. Grant each one of them strength they need to take to the next steps, the guidance of trusted mentors, and the support of loved ones. Help each graduate find that elusive mix of conviction, courage, and humility, that they might be willing to risk everything for the sake of justice and ask for help whenever needed. Graduates, may each of you have the privilege to spend your lives at that intersection of doing what you love and what the world needs for you to do. May the perseverance you have shown here and elsewhere throughout your 4 years of study continue to serve you throughout your life. As you leave Grinnell, I pray you fondly remember your years here and return to your campus home. Finally, as you go, may the peace be upon all of us this day, now and always. Amen.